Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the new Dwarf Geomancer, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so for Geomancer, we're going to go into the index, down to Dwarves, and the new Epic over here towards the left side, the Force Affinity. This is the new Epic Geomancer. Now, as always, my champion guides, you know the drill by now. Down in the pinned comment, I will have a link to this infographic where you can see the masteries of the champion that is in the video, and then some of the basic layout for the champion. So that'll be down there, easy to find. There's a link to that, so you can go ahead and pull it up. I just always make note that the masteries are what you see in this video, but you don't want to blindly copy them as you see down there on the bottom of that. But let's put that away and let's dive in to some base stat and kit analysis for Geomancer. So firstly, for the base stats, everything's pretty normal. If anything, the toughness is a little bit low. His attack is pretty decent for an epic champion. He's not really a damage dealer, but that is a pretty decent base attack of 1343. The base speed, a little bit unfortunate at 94 is kind of low. Anything under 95 starts to kind of become a little bit on the slow side, but not too bad. Just that's really the only thing that stands out. He gets 0 base accuracy, which is a little bit rough because he does place debuffs, so we need accuracy on him, but the base resistance of 30 is pretty nice for an epic. Then for the A1, I love this. It is an AOE A1, so that means he is a decent candidate for a stun set, so we can get a lot of value out of that versus waves, Doom Tower, Faction Wars, that type of stuff. And then we can also book this to a 40% chance of placing the big version of decrease attack for 2 turns on the A1. That works with Master Hexer. You can get 3-turn AoE decrease accuracy, gonna make high resistance compositions a lot better and really boost up the resistance of your team. And if we refer back to that infographic, you can see that the multiplier for the A1 is a 2.4 times attack on the AoE. Then for the A2, we've got remove all buffs from a target enemy, then attack them, similar to a Torment where he has that ability where he removes all the buffs and then attacks somebody, but we've got steal all buffs instead if the target is under an HP burn debuff, but it has to be placed by Geomancer. And then we're also going to reduce the cooldown of the A3 here, which is Quicksand Grasp, by 2 turns if the target is killed by Geomancer under an HP burn that Geomancer placed. So there are a lot of qualifiers to hit there. It's going to be very rare that you get to the proc, but when you do, it's pretty impactful because it's going to lower the cooldown of the A3 here, which is fully deplete the target's turn meter, fill the champion's turn meter by the amount the target loses, and then we've got a 75% chance that we can book up to 100 of placing HP burn and a weaken on the target for 3 turns. We can get this book to a 3-turn cooldown, so lots of situations where this can be really good. A Fire Knight, or to lock down a priority target, deplete turn meter, fill your own turn meter, and place HP burn and weaken on a 3-turn cooldown when booked. The passive makes things interesting. We've got decrease the damage all allies receive by 15%. That's an insane passive. And then we're going to deflect that damage onto an enemy under an HP burn debuff placed by this champion. So again, just like the other ability, we have to place the HP burn by Geomancer. So I wish his synergizing wasn't like that because he would be really cool to pair with HP burners, but most of his value comes from him having to place it. But if he does, he's going to actually deflect 30% of the damage instead when they attack him, instead of deflecting the 15%. So a lot to take note of there. It gets a little bit complicated the way I explained it because I was trying to be thorough. But basically, he's going to decrease damage allies receive, and he's going to reflect it onto people that have an HP burn that he placed. And then we get a really good aura for an epic champion, which is ally HP in all battles by 25%. Love that aura. Love the AoE A1. Love the debuffing with the weaken and the reflect damage and the turn meter stealing. Lots of different ways you can build this champion and get value out of him in different teams. But now let's head on over to the Geomancer that I got built, and we'll talk about the gearing, the masteries, the booking, and everything that goes into actually building Geomancer. Okay, so here we go. We've got the Geomancer that is built on my account. As you can see, I've got the stun set and the speed. He is a debuffer. I want him to be high speed or at least decent speed. And when people have the AoE A1 and they're not a heavy damage dealer, they're more of a support or a debuffer or whatever, I really love utilizing the stun set. And it does pair very well with counterattacking and high resistance teams because you get all those counterattacks, constant accuracy suppression, boosting the resistance of your whole team, and also laying down some CC with those stuns. So lots of fun things you can do with the stun set, which is why I went that route. If you want to see the total stats on my Geomancer, there you go. They are on the right side. If you want to compare it to a build that you're doing or anything there, I'll leave that up for a couple seconds. And then that leads us in to the banner. Most of the times it's going to be accuracy. We really want to make sure we're landing these decreased accuracies, the turn meter effects, the HP burn, the weaken. We definitely need good accuracy on this guy. Anything around 300 is going to be good for most of the PvE content until you get to the higher tiers of the Doom Tower, and then you'll have to weigh the accuracy based on where you're at in the arena in terms of how much you're going to need. But accuracy banner with your best blend of speed and toughness is typically going to be the route to go. Amulet and ring, you can probably flip-flop, maybe go like defense on one, HP on the other, but worth noting that it's almost, his base defense is kind of low at 925, but it's not bad to build him as a high defense champion because we kind of want him to get hit because he's going to deflect more damage that way. Again, it's not massively impactful, but if he soaks up damage, he's going to reflect a little bit more. Just something to keep in mind, but I wouldn't say it's something that you have to go crazy prioritizing, but just something I wanted to mention here. But basically on the ring and the amulet, we're just going to be getting our best blend of toughness while hopefully getting a couple rolls of accuracy on our amulet. For the boots, we're almost always going to want speed because he is a debuffer. And then again, your best blend of toughness. I would say we don't have to really worry about crit rate and crit damage. This guy's not going to be some crazy nuker. He does have a decent base attack, but I don't know if building him as a nuker is really the route to go. So really, just our best blend of speed and toughness there. On the chest and the gloves, really you can go defense or HP. Both are fine here. And then just your best blend of substats. The top ones are a lot more simple, but here are the ones that I am wearing, just in case you were curious of taking a look on those. Okay, so then let's move into the booking process. Now, this guy is going to take, if we pull up the infographic, you can see up on the top left, 15 epic books, which is a little bit unfortunate. We've got the 5 plus the 4 is 9 plus the 6 is 15. The passive doesn't take any, but yeah, I like it when the books are closer to 10. It gets a little bit rough when you're around 15, so he does like to read, but he is a pretty decent epic. If you are going to book him, they're all decently impactful, so you really can't go wrong. You want to at least get the cooldowns, but then even going from 30 to 40% on the A1's pretty impactful. So if you're going to use him a lot, you get pretty good value out of the books at least. Then for the masteries, again, those are on the infographic down there if you want to pull those up at any time and take a look. But a couple things to note here. You want accuracy. There isn't really like a damage dealing amazing route that works super well. You could go, he does place a lot of debuffs, so you could almost go Oppressor here if you don't need the Eagle Eye for the accuracy. It depends on your Great Hall, your banner, and your quality of your gear. Definitely an option there because he does place a lot of debuffs. And then the counterattack stuff here is pretty good because of his A1, especially if you're pairing it with a stun set. So now I could probably go with the Fearsome Presence on the mastery here because of the stun set, but because I was going to make an infographic for him, I wanted to go with the Eagle Eye because that's a little bit more generally useful. The Fearsome Presence is going to be very specific to people that only use the stun set. So worth noting, if you are going to put him in stun, Fearsome Presence is a great choice here as the tier 6 mastery. Now I want to show you him in action a little bit so you can kind of see how the abilities works, what the reflect looks like, and that type of stuff. Side note, a great way to test champions for free is go to a Doom Tower stage you've already cleared. You can throw together some BS support team or whatever, try stuff out, and if you leave the run, whatever, these runs you've already done on previous Doom Tower stages are free to play. So you can save resources. You don't got to waste energy in the Minotaur to do testing or anything like that. So yeah, this is just kind of a support team I put together so you can see the rotation of his abilities. Right there, he places the HP burn. And then if I put this on ×1, boom, you can see Stone Guard passive proccing, and then he reflects the damage right there onto the enemy under an HP burn. So that's what happens when he gets hit by things or allies get hit by things. That Stone Guard is going to proc, and he's going to reflect onto people that have HP burn. If there are multiple enemies that have HP burn, he will reflect multiple enemies taking that damage. So there's the AoE going off and laying down the decreased accuracy, and then if you have him in a stun set, you can get the procs of the stun as well. So that's how you can kind of see what the abilities look like and how often that passive is proccing. It's going to be proccing all the time during runs, and if you build him as the lowest HP on your team, he'll get a little bit more value out of that reflect because he'll get beating hit more often. The more he gets hit, the more he's going to reflect, and he can kind of soak up a little bit of damage for you. That's why it can be a good option to build him more sturdy instead of building him as kind of some sort of nuker damage dealer. As far as in the arena, I think he's going to make a lot more sense on a defensive style team that kind of absorbs counterattacks. He pairs well with Valkyrie, lay down the counterattack. He's going to get a bunch of those A1s going off. Pairs well with Torment and things that are designed to help be a defensive team and then go second. And then Lydia, obviously, with the aura, that's going to bump up the resistance, and he makes sense in a high resistance team. So this would be an example of kind of an arena team that I could build to counter the speed meta, go second versus Arbor team, freeze them, lay down the counterattacks, and even if I get bad RNG from the Torment, I can start popping off the counterattacks with the A1 of the Torment with the AoE stuns, and then the A1 from Geomancer doing the stuns and the decreased accuracy. So that's an example of the type of team that I would use for like maybe a tag team arena type setup. I don't think Geomancer is going to be some insane meta champion in the arena, but decreased accuracy is very good for high resistance type teams that you would want to run in the arena. And now let's go ahead and get the grades done for Geomancer in the different areas of the game. So starting with Clan Boss, he does place the HP burn and the weaken. So like pretty good early game for Clan Boss, but he'll start to fall off later in the end game. So I mean, we'll give him a 3 there. For the Spider, the AoE A1 is really nice early game. He does a lot of turn meter stuff and HP burn, but it's not like AoE HP burn. We'll go 4. There could be compositions that make sense there. Faction Wars, I'm going to go 4 probably. 4.5, 4 or 5. His base stats being a little bit lower going to lean me towards going 4, but he's going to be pretty solid addition to the Dwarf roster there for Faction Wars. He'll be okay. Anytime you have an AoE A1, that's pretty good for the campaign. I'm going to go 4 there. Dragon's Lair, the turn meter stuff isn't going to work versus the dragon, but otherwise he's fine, so we'll go 4. Arena offense, I'm going to go probably 3 on arena offense and 4 on arena defense. Magic Keep, we've got nothing special. He has Force, Affinity, so he is strong in the Magic Keep. The turn meter stuff could be cool. I'll go 4 on that. The Force Keep, we got Weekend to help us burst down the boss, but no decreased defense, unfortunately. Again, he'll be decent, though. We'll go 4. Ice Golem, pretty good. Really help you with the waves. And then also some of the HP burn, the turn meter stuff. So, yeah, 4 is fine. Minotaur, pretty par for the course. He's mostly just going to be a 4 on almost everything. He's just kind of like, he can make sense in most situations. But Fire Knight, I will go 5. The turn meter stuff is really good in the Fire Knight, and he's also going to fill his own with that, plus the weaken and everything else that he brings, and helping you with the waves. I'll go 5 on the Fire Knight. Spirit Keep, again, going to be, well, no, I'm going to go 2 on that one because he's Affinity weak, and he doesn't do, like, hero reduction or anything, so that's going to be the worst grade that I'd give him for those reasons on the Spirit Keep. So on the way out, let's fire up a run just so you can kind of see him in action and see what the abilities look like. That's what he prioritizes right there. That single target HP burn that he lays down, and then he kind of starts snowballing and doing the turn meter stuff and the AoE A1 and all this type of stuff that he brings to the table. And also, I'll pull up the infographic here while we're talking about this. So Geomancer's solid. He's definitely an above average epic. He's a good epic. I like the AoE A1. Brings a lot of utility to the Dwarf. Faction Wars help you suppress the waves, especially if you get him in a stun set, plus the Fearsome Presence Mastery to go along with it. But yeah, so I'm going to give him like a B+ on designing him. He's not going to be like OP, broken, best epic in the game or anything, but he's definitely solid and definitely a good addition to the Dwarves roster, and also a really good early to mid game progression type champion, and can also pair super well with counterattack, high resistance compositions in the right tag team arena type setup. So yeah, I like him, and I'm glad I built him. I've had a lot of fun testing him and playing him out. So let me know down below if you agree or disagree, what you think about Geomancer so far and his addition to the raid roster. That'll do it for me. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.